Hello, Phelps. So glad you could be with us today for our all-school assembly. AP Eatman and Mr. Greenhow and I are going to share a few things with you today to help you be successful. Now, as you see from our graphic here, the idea is that we have a chemical reaction that's going on, showing you that there is a change and a transformation at play. We know there's a lot of powerful things happening right now as we're all dealing with the COVID, we're dealing with the social unrest, we're dealing with an upcoming election. There's a lot of important things that are happening right now to make sure we understand where we fit into all this and what we need to do to be able to be successful. AP Eatman, can you take us on to the next one? So in our all-school assembly today, we want to start by focusing in on academics. Now, there's a lot of good things that are happening right now. I'm so proud of you guys for starting the school year well. There's a lot of things we're doing really well. But there's some things we got to get better at in order to be successful. Remember, we've talked about that our motto is that we want you to graduate with options, because when you have options, you are powerful. And the idea here is we need you to be successful with your academics so that you can access those options. Let's go ahead, AP Eatman. So a couple of things to think about and to remember about how we have success in the academics. Now, students are taking 4 classes right now. Now, for 10th, 11th, and 12th graders, you're used to taking 8 classes at a time with the A-Day, B-Day schedule. But the way things are going this year is we're focusing on just 4 classes at a time. What that means is a class like English, math, engineering, carpentry, a class that used to be a full year in length is now just a semester in length. And then if you've got a class that used to be a half a year, like art or PE or health, that class used to be a semester in length. Now it's only a term in length. So you're taking just 4 classes at a time, which means things are moving very quickly. You have class every day. So remember, we have class sessions on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And there's synchronous learning on all 4 of those days where you are engaging with your teachers, you're having class sessions with your peers. There also may be some asynchronous components to those days as well, where maybe you're working on a task, maybe you're working with some peers on a project, and then maybe the teacher's working with some of you in small groups. But it's critical that you go to class to all 4 of your classes every day. It's important that you log into Canvas every day so that you're getting access to your content, you're engaging with your teachers, and you're being marked for attendance. Let's go ahead, AP Eatman. Now, you say, what about Wednesdays? Wednesdays are still a school day. It's an opportunity to continue our learning, but just in some different ways. So this is a day where you can work in small groups with your teachers to get extra help, maybe to get some enrichment and challenge and some support with some things that maybe either are giving you a hard time or things that you want to grow and be strengthened in. It's also an opportunity maybe to work on projects with some colleagues, with some peers. There are asynchronous components to the learning on Wednesdays. So that means you may not be directly connecting with your teacher, or you may not be connecting with your teacher for the whole time on Wednesday, but you want to make sure you're logging into Canvas every Wednesday so that you have access to that content and that you're engaging with those learning sessions. Now, many of us are doing a great job with this, but some of us are struggling a little bit. And some of us have this misunderstanding that maybe Wednesdays is like a day off. Such is not the case. Wednesdays is not a day off. It's an important part of your learning progression. We're just doing it in some different ways. You see the schedule there. You should still log in to Canvas at 9:30 every morning, just like you do every other day. But instead of going directly to your first period class, you're going to log into Canvas and find out what your teachers have for you. We'll take lunch break at the same time we do on every other day. And then there's a learning session after lunch. And then On every other Wednesday, we'll have our student voice sessions. So again, Wednesdays is a critically important day. It's an important part of the learning. It is not a day off. Okay, Mr. Greenhow, I think wants to talk a little bit about SEL.
Yes. Greetings, everyone. Mr. Greenhow, Dean of Students. All right, for our SEL that we're implementing at Phelps, SEL, our social emotional learning. All right, actually, can you go to the next screen for me, AP Evening? Thank you. All right, so our social emotional learning is the process through which children and adults acquire and effectively apply the knowledge, attitudes, and skills necessary for. Actually, can you go go back one more, back two for me? Yeah, thank you. To understand and manage emotions, set and achieve positive goals, feel and show empathy for others, establish and maintain positive relationships, and make responsible decisions. SEL is focused on a healthy body, a healthy mind. So teaching the whole body. All right. I know we're focused on academics because we're in school, but we have to focus on your mental, emotional health as well. All right, making sure that you're waking up in the morning, you're eating breakfast, making sure that you're going to bed on time, making sure that we're doing things that we can do in our daily lives to relieve that stress away and relieve anxiety away. All right, so that is our focus when it comes to our SEL for our school. All right, next slide, please. And one more slide, please. With implementing our SEL, we're doing this by also not only implementing SEL into our classrooms and our lessons, but also our student voice groups, which Dr. Emmett mentioned earlier, that we have on every other Wednesday from 2:30 to 3 o'clock. All right, and during those student voice groups, we have our 5 competencies that we're going over, and I'll show you that shortly. In order to find your group and find what group we are with your teachers and what channel you're in with teams, you will first go to teams, click teams, then click the Phelps 2021 school year greetings, announcements, and student voice group. Click general, then click files, and then click student voice group to show which group you're in and which channel you should attend at 2:30. All right, next slide, please. And as I previously mentioned, we have our 5 competencies and the dates in which we will be going through those competencies. So we have our self-awareness, self-management, social and cultural awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision making. And once we've completed the cycle, we're actually going to go back and repeat the cycle later on in the school year with new content and new lessons and new activities for you all to do. All right. On the right side, you can see the dates in which these competencies will be implemented. All right. And in order to see this, you also have this file and PowerPoint available in our Teams app. All right. Next slide, please. I believe it's on PBIS. All right.
All right. Positive behavior interventions and supports. It is a system to make us, the Phelps students, staff, and school community stronger. What is PBIS? It is a way to support everyone to create a school environment where all students are successful. And PBIS has 3 tiers. In Tier 1 is universal prevention for all students. Tier 1 supports serve as a foundation for behavior and academics. The school will provide universal supports to all students. For most students, the core program gives them what they need to be successful and prevent future challenges. Tier 2 is targeted intervention or prevention. Schools often provide Tier 2 supports to groups of students with similar targeted needs. For instance, if Principal Emmett, Mr. Greenhow, and I were in the same class, struggling on the same Common Core standard, the teacher would group us together as a small group and represent that lesson and dig a little deeper so that we can help to strengthen and foster our skills on that standard. So Tier 2 supports help students develop the skills that they need to benefit core programs at the school. Tier 3, at this level, schools typically rely on formal assessments to determine a student's needs and develop an individualized support plan. And if you look to the left of the screen, you'll see the three-tiered approach for PBIS. And we're going to talk now about the PBIS matrix. Mr. Greenhow, tell them about that Panther Pride.
Yes. So over the years, we have had our Phelps Way. All right. We are transitioning our Phelps Way to our Panther Pride. All right. These are actually the criteria that we're going to use for our PBIS system. All right. So one criteria here, our Phelps ACE scholars show pride in academics by completing tasks on time and in full completion to the best of our ability while being academically honest. All right. Monitoring our grades and consulting with our teachers for support. Demonstrating the ability to work effectively with peers and independently. All right. Our Phelps A scholars show pride in our behavior by keeping microphones muted while others are talking and using the raise hand icon to respond. Utilizing the chat box for content specific and lesson related conversation only. All right. Respecting others' point of views and responding with positive feedback and discourse. And our Phelps A scholars show pride in our attendance by attending every synchronous and asynchronous class meeting time from start to finish. All right. Reminding parents to submit excuse absence documentation to the attendance counselor, all right, Ms. Chandler, within the expected time frame. And also informing teachers of tardies, absence, and following up with completing and submitting all missed assignments. Remember, our pride, being present, being respectful, being invested, dependable, and empowered. All right. So, going forward, a big piece of our PBIS is the incentive and the rewards. All right, I'm actually going to share my screen real quick, AP Eatman. All right.
Got it, Mr. Greenhow.
All right. So on the form is actually a link sent in our Teams group. All right. It is the PBIS incentive suggestions. All right. At Phelps, we utilize a PBIS positive behavior interventions and support system as a tool to encourage positive behavior, promote high academic expectations, and assist with the development of our positive school culture of pride. All right. An important and fun part of our PBIS system is the inclusion of incentives, rewards that students and staff can earn once they have reached the PBIS criteria that has been assigned for a specific time frame, which can be weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or by term. All right. With the incentives and rewards being a major piece of the PBIS puzzle, we would like to hear from you regarding ideas for virtual and non-virtual incentives rewards that you find interesting. All right. This is what the form looks like. In the space provided, we ask that you present ideas and incentives rewards that you feel may be of interest for students and or staff. Label your ideas with numbers. For an example, all right, a homework redo pass. So let's say you didn't do so well in your homework assignment. Oh, I have my pass. I can redo it. All right. Number 2, the project delayed due date pass. So it's crunch time. Your project is due the next day. Oh, I have my pass. Now I can get an extra day or a few more hours to do my project. And then the third example, a Phelps private movie showing. So as the teachers actually tallying down, seeing if each student has reached the criteria, if you get the pass, you're able to go to a private movie showing where we're broadcasting the movie from our screens and everyone is watching it. All right, but you have to get invited to that. If you don't get the pass, you don't get accepted into it. All right, but remember, most incentives and rewards will likely have to be virtual because we're virtual right now. But we also want ideas for non-virtual incentives and rewards as well, because once we go back, we also want to utilize those incentives that you all come up with. All right. Once again, this form can be found in our Teams app in the chat. Just click the form, click the link, and it should work. And I will show you here. So in our general Phelps 2021 school year greetings, announcements, and student voice group, general, and here's the form here. Just click the form, and it comes up, pops up for you. All right. Thank you.
Again, thank you, Phelps, for joining us today. Thank you, AP Eatman. Thank you, Mr. Greenhow. Glad we could share this with our students today and our families. Again, we look forward to a successful school year and hope this information helps everybody understand what they need to do to be successful. Gentlemen, anything more to add?
Go Panthers.
Go Panthers. Have a positive and productive school year.
Yes.
Thank you all.